Welcome. Today's explainer is a journey into mastering what is, without a doubt, the ultimate conversational Swiss Army knife in Brazilian Portuguese. We are decoding the incredibly dynamic word bagulho. So if you're looking to ditch those rigid textbooks and figure out how real people actually talk on the streets of Brazil, well, you're in exactly the right place.
Because, look, mastering this single, highly versatile word, it's basically the ultimate real-world cheat code. Seriously, it's the bridge that takes you from sounding like a slightly awkward tourist to a natural, fluent local. People use it constantly in everyday conversations all over the country. But what exactly does it mean? Well, that's the catch. It depends entirely on context. Let's break the whole shebang down step by step.
Layer 1. Naming the unnamed object. Okay, let's dive into this and peel back the first and, honestly, most harmless layer of our linguistic onion, using the word as a stand-in for everyday items.
At its absolute most basic level, bagulho is just a substitute for an undefined object or item. Think about it. When you're just going about your everyday life and the actual name for something completely escapes you, what do you say in English? You say thing or stuff, right? Well, that is exactly how this functions practically in everyday Brazilian life.
Let's picture a quick mini scene of this in action. You're chilling comfortably on the couch, your friend is standing over by the kitchen counter, and you just gesture vaguely across the room. Naturally, you'd say, "Me passa aquele bagulho ali, por favor." Pass me that thing over there, please. It's just so breezy, super conversational, and it's an absolute lifesaver when you literally cannot remember the exact word for the TV remote or your keys.
Or imagine someone physically struggling, trying to lug a massive, super awkward box up a flight of stairs. They are absolutely not going to pause, catch their breath, and dig for a proper, formal dictionary term. No way! They're going to groan out, "Esse bagulho é muito pesado." This thing is too heavy, you know? It brings such a raw, authentic energy to the language because it demonstrates the word's utility in real, physical action.
Layer 2. When situations get intense. Let's move on and see how this builds, because Bagulho certainly does not stop at physical objects. Our second layer pivots entirely from tangible things to abstract, complex vibes.
Now, what's really interesting here is how the word perfectly captures a sudden, really intense shift in a room's atmosphere. Take the phrase, "O bagulho ficou estranho depois que eles foram embora." The situation got weird after they left. Suddenly, it's no longer just a heavy box or a remote control, right? Bagulho becomes the tension, the awkwardness, the entire heavy vibe of that space.
And it applies heavily to high-stakes problems too. A gente precisa resolver esse bagulho rápido. We need to fix this issue quickly. In this context, the word effortlessly acts as a catch-all for an urgent, complex problem that demands immediate attention. You can actually feel the intensity of the situation just by swapping out a formal word for bagulho.
But that brings us to a very serious question, one you absolutely need to keep in mind as you learn. When does a bagulho become dangerous? Because slang is deeply, deeply rooted in context, and getting it wrong, that can completely change the nature of your conversation.
Layer 3. The illicit urban meaning. In certain contexts, particularly on the streets and in urban slang, the stakes get incredibly high. The word takes on a much darker and far more serious definition.
For example, he was caught with some bagulhos no bolso. He was caught with some drugs in his pocket. Context is absolutely crucial here. We are no longer talking about an awkward box or a weird situation at a party. We are looking at a decidedly risky, illicit scenario where bagulho directly and specifically refers to illegal drugs. Or take this very clear warning. Fique longe desse cara, ele sempre tá vendendo bagulho. Stay away from that guy, he's always dealing stuff. So the crucial point is, understanding this dark corner definition is totally vital for safely navigating street slang. You really have to read the room, pay attention to your environment, and understand the context to know exactly which bagulho is being discussed. Undefined objects. 2. Intense situations. 3. Illicit drugs. And this brilliantly illustrates the full, incredible scope of what we've covered today. One single, unassuming word, giving us 3 completely distinct meanings. It truly is an incredible linguistic multi-tool.
Which brings us to this perfect quote directly from our source material. By learning expressions like bagulho, you'll sound more natural in everyday conversations. Look,
If your goal as a focused learner is to truly understand Brazilian culture and get closer to the reality of street slang, grasping these nuances isn't just an option, it is literally the key to genuine fluency.
If this explainer sparked your curiosity and you want to keep expanding your vocabulary, the source of our material today has a great call to action. Want to learn more practical Portuguese? Make sure you follow Teachers from Brazil. They are a fantastic resource for continuing your focused learning journey and picking up even more of these conversational gems.
I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. So, how will you use your new Bagulho today? Whether you're asking someone to pass the remote, describing a tense meeting at work, or just navigating the rich, complex streets of Brazil, you now have the ultimate vocabulary word right in your back pocket. Get out there, use it with confidence, and keep exploring the amazing nuances of language. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.